You're listening to Hawk Talk with former Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus. Powered by Seahawks.com. Now, here's your host, Nasser Kyobe.
Welcome into another edition of Hawk Talk. The Seahawks getting ready to take on division rival Arizona Cardinals at Lumen Field on Sunday, fresh off a huge win over the Washington Commanders bump. Things are looking good here at the Virginia Mason Athletic Center.
Look good, feel good, play good. They look good, too, before they even started the game. Them throwbacks are looking nice out there. Then they go out there and they start the game off hot. That's what we want to see.
Yeah, and we're going to get into it. Obviously, the Seahawks made a huge trade this week, acquiring Shaheed from the New Orleans Saints. He's going to make a huge impact for this club, so I'm excited. He's wearing number 22 in your program, so lots to break down. But let's hop into those Arizona Cardinals. What's on tap?
What's on tap?
Cardinals 3-5, last place in the NFC West. Wins over the Saints, the Carolina Panthers, and just last week over the Dallas Cowboys bump, but they had a rough patch in there. They lost 5 in a row, losing to the 49ers, the Seahawks, the Titans, the Colts, and the Packers. But what jumps out to me, Bump, is they're not getting dog walked out there.
Nah, not at all.
Lost 5 games by a combined 13 points. And so they're in every game. It doesn't look great when we're going to get into the head-to-head and all the numbers, but, Bump, they find a way to stay in games, and they're definitely not as bad as their record would tell you. What do you see from the Cardinals on Monday night?
Yeah, they got some potential, man, but they played the Cowboys. The Cowboys came into the game averaging 30 points and were held to just 17. And 7 of those points came off a blocked punt that was recovered in the end zone for a touchdown. The Cowboys reached Arizona's 7 with a first down on the game's first possession, but came away with nothing when Dak Prescott was sacked on 4th down by Josh Sweat, who had 2 of his 5 sacks against the Dallas quarterback. Calais Campbell, big ups, 80s baby, still in there doing his thing. Also had 2 with his 250th career regular season game. He just hangs around, keeps making plays.
If we see him on the sideline, pop down there and be like, hey, man, what are you taking?
Yeah, let me know.
We need to put the wealth out there.
What's your vitamin plan?
He's on to something. Cowboys, like they're not very good, man. I don't know what it is, because no matter what I see from them, they should be better. I feel like I know they got rid of Parsons to start the year, and I root for Brian Schottenheimer. He was here in Seattle for a long time, so it's tough to see some of that. But offensively, they look bad. 5-12 on 3rd down, 0 for 3 on 4th down. Jacoby Brissett, though, Bump, that's what stole the story, and that's going to spend a lot of our time. He was 21-31, 261, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, quarterback rating of 115.
Yeah, Jacoby looked good, man. He's efficient. You know, the play action looks good. He's getting the ball out on time. We'll spend some more time on him. And he played well enough that Coach John said, look, he had to field questions about him. And when your backup is doing your thing, you get to that press conference, they're going to ask about him. And they decided to roll with him, but in hindsight, it's because Kyler Murray got banged up as well, so he's on IR. But they're rolling with Jacoby Brissett. Me personally, I think that they should have rolled with him anyway, even if Kyler was injured, because he's the one, or wasn't injured, because he's the one that stopped the losing streak. And the offense just looks more efficient when he is over there. And he also had DeMarcado, who had his second best rushing total of the season. He had 79 yards on 14 carries, but it was more about Jacoby.
Yeah, Jacoby, and here's another thing who's going to like that. Marvin Harrison. He had his best game as a Cardinal in terms of catches, 7 receptions, 96 yards, did most of that damage in the first half. Goodness gracious, what he did to Deron Bland.
Oh, my gosh.
That was tough.
We saw what happened
with JSN this last week.
Yeah.
This was equally as disrespectful, but that connection's definitely heating up. And for the Cowboys, Dak, 24-39, 250, 1 tud, 1 interception. But let's jump into the head-to-head matchup between these teams. Like I said, the Seahawks on paper definitely edging in most categories. Look at the offense. Seahawks have the 9th best offense in the league, averaging 359 yards a game. Rushing offense, 22nd. Pass offense, 4th in the league and 5th in points per game. When you look at the Cardinals, they are 21st in total offense, 20th in rush offense, 20th in pass offense, and 19th in points per game. So they're towards the middle of the pack, towards the bottom. The Seahawks are definitely making their way up there, looking pretty good offensively.
Yeah, defensively, on total defense, the Hawks are 11th against the run. They're 2nd against the pass. They're 18th in points allowed, 5th, only giving up 18.8 per game. On the other side, the Cardinals are 20th overall, 12th against the run, 23rd against the pass, and 11th, giving up 21 points per game. Cardinals have 5 interceptions. The Hawks have 9 interceptions. Look, there's a gap in between some of these numbers, but this is the NFL. You know how this goes.
No question about it. It's a division opponent that you've beaten a lot recently. So because of that, they're going to be ready to go, and they've seen a lot of the film on the Seahawks. But that takes us to knowing the history.
Know your history.
Seahawks lead the all-time series 30-22-1. The Seahawks have won, like I said, 8 games against the Cardinals. Their last 8, 9 of their last 10. They're 11-1-1 at State Farm Stadium since 2013. And week 4 was a game that the Seahawks felt like they were dominating. In the score, though, they only won 23-20. But the Seahawks came out, and let's fast forward to throughout that game. It was 17-6 lead, 11:48 in the game. Looks like Zach Charbonnet's on running the end zone, game-sealing touchdown. But then there's a phantom hold on Jackson Smith and
Ridiculous.
That was absolutely brutal. The Seahawks had to settle for a field goal. Unfortunately, the Hawks let the Cardinals back into the game. They scored 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Marvin Harrison, who had a dropped ball that was intercepted, kind of rebounds, gets in the end zone. So with that, score was tied at 20-20 with 28 seconds left in the game. But, man, the Cardinals really messed it up. Chad Ryland was unable to get the ball into the landing zone, which we love these new rules, putting pressure on the kickers.
Make them kick.
Seahawks take advantage. JSN making a huge play, setting up the game-winning field goal by Jason Myers. The Seahawks get the victory 23-20. And again, the Seahawks dominated this game. They outgained the Cardinals 384-253, outrushed the Cardinals 155-89. They also won time of possession 32-24 to 27-36. They were in control from the jump. You didn't like to see the Cardinals get back in the game. So fast forward to this week, hopefully the Seahawks, if they get a lead like that, they can hold on. But Bump, let's get into what's going on in the NFC West. What's the word?
Where my soldiers at? West side! Where my soldiers at? West side!
And the Seahawks are the NFC West champs again.
What's the word in the West on Hawk Talk?
Let's look at the NFC West. The Seahawks sitting on top of the division, 6-2. The Rams 6-2. Niners 6-3, and the Cardinals 2-5. So the Saints were at the Rams this past week. Tyler Shuck made his first NFL start and did it in the way that he wanted. He's a rookie. I mean, how many times does it end the way a rookie runs, right? Sunday's game between the Rams and the Saints was never in doubt. The Rams were in control of this game from the jump. They won 34-10. The Rams were up by 2 scores for the majority of the game, and that's hard for a rookie quarterback to try to come back from. Matthew Stafford was 24 of 32, 281, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, finished with a QB rating of 140. Stafford has been on fire last 5 games. He's passed for 1,400 yards, 16 touchdowns, no interceptions. People don't talk about him in the MVP talk enough. I get Pat Mahomes is going to lead the charge, but, yeah, get this man in the mix. Kyron Williams led all ball carries with 114 with 25 carries and a touchdown. Puka and Devontae combined for 12 and 155 and 3 touchdowns. Devontae is still one of the best red zone threats in the game right now. Nakul went to the locker room in the third quarter after having an injury to his ribs. So Rams believe he dodged a bullet and avoided a serious injury, came back on the field in the fourth quarter. But he didn't record a reception, I don't believe.
No, they didn't really need him to go back in the game. I think if it was a tight game, they would have put him back in the game. They didn't, and they hold on for the victory. We're not going to jump ahead because our focus today is the Arizona Cardinals. But, man, the Rams are looming. That matchup is going to be absolutely nuts, so we'll stay tuned for that. The Rams have a big showdown with the 49ers on Sunday, Bump.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's hard to, looking at the record-wise, either way, they both can't lose. A love 10 and a tie, but what can you do?
That'll be perfect.
Speaking of those 49ers, though, Bump, they played the Giants, and they continue to stay in it. They have injuries galore, but they continue to find ways to stay in games and win ball games. 49ers went another week without Brock Purdy, who's missed 5 games in a row, but that was not a problem because Christian McCaffrey has been balling. 173 scrimmage yards, 2 touchdowns, led the team in rushing and receiving. 28 carries, 106 yards and a touchdown. 5 receptions, 67 yards and a touchdown. The Rams ran the ball 39 times for 159. Mac Jones, when he did throw the ball, he was efficient, 19 of 24, 235, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Brian Robinson added 53 rushing yards on just 5 carries and a touchdown. Giants couldn't get out of their own way. A couple clutch drops, some special teams errors, dropping their 3rd game in a row, going to 2-7 on the year. Now, again, the Rams and 49ers, that kicks off at 125 a little bit after the Seahawks game, so we'll definitely be tapped into that because this division is starting to take shape, and it's one of the best in the league. Each and every week, even with the Cardinals, they're 3-5, like we mentioned. They can play some football, so it should be interesting as we go on. But speaking of those Cardinals, I try to combine 49ers and Cardinals.
Cardinals.
Just about nothing. Let's get back into those Cardinals. Man up.
Who you got?
Who you got? You know what time it is. Man up.
Man up, brother.
Man up.
Man up on Hawk Talk.
Michael Bumpus, Jacoby Brissett. We got to talk about who this man is because I don't think a lot of people really know. Kind of know him as a journeyman quarterback, been around the league, but let's dive into that because it's been a hot topic of conversation. Obviously, we kind of touched on it at the beginning of this week. You know, Kyler Murray's been the franchise quarterback for 7 years, been sidelined the last 3 weeks. He goes to IR with a foot injury. And Gannon says, hey, it's the best thing for him and us. He's fully committed. What he is going to do is concentrate on getting healthy. So obviously there's kind of a controversy coming into this game, but it doesn't really matter because Murray's injured. We're going to look at Brissett. So 10 seasons in the league already. 10th year for Brissett.
That's crazy.
3rd-round pick to the Patriots in the 2016 draft out of North Carolina State. He started 56 of 92 games he's played in, spent his rookie year in New England, and the next 4 with the Colts. You might remember him. He's been a starter for the Colts 2 different years. One when Andrew Luck hurt his tore his labrum. He started the entire season. And the next time was when Luck abruptly retired. Right. Since then, he's had stints in Miami, Cleveland, Washington, back to New England, now back in Arizona, starting sporadically over the last 4 years. But this year's feels a little different. They're 1-2 with him as a starter. But the Cardinals' offense is humming, 25 points per game right now since he's been up there without really a running game at all. He's 10th in passer rating. He's played well enough to win a lot of those games. And you look at his numbers, 73 of 112, 860 yards, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception, and sacked 13 times, QB rating of 102.5. Bump. When you look at Jacoby Brissett, what does he do well? He's not going to kill you with his speed. He's not going to kill you with the best deep ball of all time. But what does he do well?
He is a organizer. He organizes this offense. He is efficient. What I love the most about him too is that he's great under center. When he gets into that drop and he's doing the mesh, he looks like a pro. You can tell. I've been around some good quarterbacks back in my day. There's some guys who, when they fake the handoff and do the boot, it's too flowy. Like his is robotic. Show you the ball, tuck the ball, hide it, rolling out, and he's good in the pocket. He operates from the pocket and he knows where to go with the football. All right, Marvin Harrison had 10 targets last game. Why? Because he's the best option that he has over there. The second most targets he's had this year, actually tied for first. He had 10 targets a few weeks ago. But he's efficient, and that's all you want out of your quarterback. Give the play a chance. And with Kyler Murray, he gives the big play a chance. Jacoby Brissett gives the simple play a chance, which can eventually turn into a big play.
I got you. No, and it'll be interesting because the Seahawks played Jacoby last year when he was starting for the New England Patriots. I think they held him to under 150 yards passing, sacked him 3 times. So it'll be interesting to see if the Seahawks defense can get after him again.
All right, let's talk about our quarterback, Sam Darnold, coming off another amazing performance, man. My man won the FedEx Air Player of the Week or something like that.
Come on now, Sam.
Come on, tossing
Respect
that thing,
on that name.
21-24, 334 touchdowns, 1 interception. Started the game with 13 straight completions,
17.
which tied. Oh, sorry, 13. What am I doing? My bad. Shorted you 4. 17 straight completions that tied Warren Moon's franchise record for consecutive completed passes. Sam Darnold in the first half was a perfect 16 of 16, 282, 4 touchdowns, perfect passer rating of 185.3. He now has 18 games with 100-plus passer rating, and since 2024, that's the most in the NFL.
Darnold's balling. I mean, and again, every time we look at you put out these numbers, 7th in passing yards, number 1 in pass yards per attempt, number 1 in yards per completion, number 3 in passer rating, number 5 in completion percentage. He is, again, he's playing at this level, and I love it because now the rest of the nation is now involved in the party, being like, oh, Seattle's doing something pretty good over there. Sam Darnold is showing what he can do, so I'm excited. Last time out against the Cardinals, 18 of 26, 242, 1 touchdown, QB rating of 111. So that should be fun to see what Sam can do this week. I alluded to a little bit earlier, the Cardinals' run game has been a little suspect isn't the right word because when you look at their numbers, they're in the top 20 or whatever, but it's not spread out, in a way where most of one guy has all the carries because James Conner gets hurt right away, right? Trey Benson, he also gets hurt. So now you kind of look at who's playing, running the ball. You got Bam Knight, Amari DiMercado, Michael Carter. Right now, it looks like DiMercado is kind of emerging as the guy. Last week, he had a great game, 14 carries, 79 yards. Without Kyler, this really changes what they do in a run game perspective. Kyler definitely is a threat with his legs. Jacoby Brissett is not that same. I say all that to say the Seahawks are great stopping the run. They're number 2 in the National Football League. This has to be a week where that continues. And a guy like DiMercado, even though he's going this way, trending up, the Seahawks got to continue to shut him down in order to win this football game.
Hey, big as DiMercado dealing with all he dealt with on that sideline with his coach. And now is being leaned on to help this team out. So people don't understand the mental battles that some of these guys go through, man. It's tough. All right. Next matchup, got Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison against the Seahawks secondary. Trey McBride, he continues to be one of the best tight ends in the game. He's 4th in NFL receiving yards amongst tight ends with 476. Only trails Kelsey, Warren, and Kraft. Low-key big ups to Kelsey because people thought he was done. He was washed. My man's bouncing back. McBride leads all NFL tight ends with 244 receptions over the last 3 seasons. He marks his 10th consecutive game with 5+ receptions. In NFL history, there have only been 3 streaks longer by a tight end. Last week against Dallas, It was his 22nd outing with 5+ receptions and 50+ receiving yards, dating back to his second NFL season in 2023. This year, he has 31 receptions, 467, 3 touchdowns, and the last matchup, he had 7 receptions against the Seahawks. He had 7 receptions for 52 yards on 11 targets. You know what I like about him is that he's a receiving tight end, but he will block the heck out of you too.
Yeah,
like he is a massive man, and will be good in that run game as well.
He's a complete player, and it's consistency. When you're having, it might not seem like, it's not 150 yards every week.
Yeah.
But you're getting 5 receptions, 50+ yards each and every time out there. He's consistent. He'll block it. Trey McBride is a great football player, one of their best threats. And then, again, when you come to pass catchers, Marvin Harrison Jr. When you look at all these guys from Ohio State, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, the list goes on and on and on and on. Marvin, coming out might have had some of the highest expectations. Yep. He's a top 5 pick, and the production hasn't necessarily matched that. And I don't know if it's his fault. There's been a lot of volatility, different offensive coordinators, all this stuff going on. But last week he might have found something. Coming off one of the best games, career high, I said, 7 receptions, 96 yards, and a touchdown. And that was the 4th most receiving yards in his career. He also, like I said, shook Deron Bland out of his shoes. Holy smokes.
Gracious.
I think he's a guy that when he finds his confidence, he could be really dangerous. And now playing with Brissett, they kind of built some chemistry. Brissett talked post-game about how he knew Marvin was going to have a good game. He said he knew him pregame because he was going to get him the football. So they're locked in, and so definitely be watching Marvin Harrison this week. On the season, 31 receptions, 492 yards, 3 touchdowns, leads the team in receiving yards. So it'll be interesting to see how his career continues to move on, but he's definitely a top 5 pick for a reason.
Yeah, you see the talent. Now it's about this chemistry and consistency, and we saw that last week. Our guys, JSN, Torrey Horton, and welcome to the squad, Rashid Shaheed. Appreciate you. Can't wait to see you play, dog. But let's focus on JSN to start. He leads the NFL with 948 yards. He's 52 yards away from 1,000. He leads the NFL in yards per game with 118. He's 7th in yards per reception with 16.3. First player in franchise history to have 4 consecutive 100-yard games. Tied Steve Largent for most 100-yard receiving games in a single season in franchise history with 6. Passed DK Metcalf for the most receptions in a player's first 3 seasons in franchise history with 221. And he joined Hall of Famer Isaac Bruce as the only player under the age of 25 with 900+ receiving yards in their first 8 games of a season. He also became the 5th player in the Super Bowl era with at least 75 receiving yards in each of his 8 games of the season, joining Adam Thielen, Antonio Brown, Michael Irvin, and Dwight Clark.
Is that good?
It's all right. I mean, I want to keep him humble. So just keep rolling, JSN. Keep rolling.
Well, you look at that, and the season could be over, and for a lot of guys, they would kill to have the season that he's had to this point. So, it's unreal. And we say each and every week, it's like a broken record. It's not like defensive coordinators aren't out there being like, we got to take this guy away.
Yeah.
They just cannot do it because he continues to find and show you why he's special as he is. But let's talk about the new guy, Rashid Shaheed. Love this acquisition for the Seahawks. The Seahawks sent over a 4th and 5th round pick in the 2026 draft for him. Shaheed signed with the Saints as an undrafted free agent out of Weber State, another Big Sky, big ups to Big Sky, Ty Okada as well. In 2022, he had 44 catches, 499 yards, and 2 touchdowns through the first 9 games of this season, including an 87-yard touchdown against the Giants. In 4 seasons with the Saints, he had 138 catches for 2,055 yards, 12 touchdowns, as well as 19 carries for 128 yards and a touchdown. He played under Clint Kubiak, which is absolutely huge. Coming into this bump, I was not a receiver, but I can imagine if you're coming into a new system and having learned the entire playbook halfway through the year, it's probably pretty tough.
Yeah, it is tough. To start, you're probably going to the huddle and just listening to the quarterback say some words that hardly mean anything to you and asking, okay, what do I do? Like, formations are typically going to be similar or the same, so you know where to line up, but after that, it's like, all right, what do I got? So with this, there might be some of that to start, but for the most part, man, he's familiar with this offense.
Exactly. Obviously, terminology and different things might be a little bit different, but he understands what's going on, so that's going to be huge, help him hit the ground running, essentially, in this offense. And then, he's also excelled as a returner. He's earning first-team All-Pro honors as a punt returner and Pro Bowl honors as a return specialist in 2023 when he had 25 punt returns for 339 yards and a touchdown, 28 kick returns for 1,479 yards. In his NFL career, he was an All-American return in college and 64 punt returns, 804 yards, 2 touchdowns, as well as 38 kick returns, 3,891 yards. So he's been doing it, and I love how he fits in because Derek Young is dealing with some injuries there, he could easily put himself right into that return game. So I'm excited. I'm really excited what he can do. And again, everyone's talked about, taking the top off the defense. He's a speed guy. When everyone's healthy, Cooper Kupp, JSN, Shaheed, Darnold's killing it with them. You add him to this, it could be really dangerous.
It could be, man. They all bring something to the table, right? They can all stretch the field. JSN's been doing it. Torrey Horton's been doing it. Shaheed's going to do it at a different level. But they all have different styles at the same time. And I think that's the best thing about this receiver group. All right, let's look at the big boys for the Cardinals. Calais Campbell, Josh Sweat, and Walter Nolan III against everybody. Last but not least, the Cardinals are playing some really good ball up front of the defense. We'll start with the ageless wonder, Calais Campbell. I need your vitamin plan. I need your eating habits, all of that, because I need that. He just makes plays. 18-year vet, 6-time Pro Bowler. He had 2 sacks last week against the Cowboys and 5 sacks on the season so far this year. 21 tackles, 5 sacks, 7 TFLs, and 12 quarterback hits. Josh Sweat, I always put that SH in there. Josh Sweat is also playing some really good ball right now. The 8-year vet spent 7 years of his career with Philly, but it's proven that he still has some juice. He has 17 tackles, 7 sacks, 9 TFLs, and 12 quarterback hits.
They're showing they can bring some pressure. A lot of this happened last week against the Cowboys, each of them getting 5 sacks. You mentioned Calais Campbell, Bump. If you would have gotten on his vitamin plan, maybe you'd still be playing.
Man,
18 years late.
I would have taken this 4 or 5 more years.
No, but they're playing some good ball. And then really intriguing to me is Walter Nolan III, 16 overall pick in this year's draft. He missed training camp and pretty much the whole season, was active for the first time against the Cowboys, and he balled out. I mean, 4 tackles, 2 TFLs, 1 sack, 1 pass defended. Nolan became the first player since TJ Watt in 2017 and just the 4th player in NFL history to have that type of debut. Now, he'll be someone to watch because, it's one game of film on this rookie, so we'll see what happens there. But, yeah, when we look at all those matchups and all those guys you mentioned, the Cardinals are a good football team. Yep. They have players, obviously, in the National Football League. Despite their 3-5 record, you got to play well against this team, and that's what they're going to do. So we're going to tell you guys how they get that done. Path to victory.
At the 45, waits for the snap. Michael Dixon puts it down. That kick is away, and that kick is good! The Seahawks win! It's good!
It's a path to victory on Hawk Talk.
Little by little, Seahawks getting respect around the National Football League. Expectations are going to continue to go up if the Seahawks play as well as they're playing each and every week. And they just got to keep doing what they're doing. I think this coaching staff, Mike McDonald, does a great job of keeping these guys, their mindset right. There's enough veterans on this football team who aren't looking to the Rams next week. They're looking at this Cardinals team right in front of them. And for me, it starts with dominance on defense, stopping the run, keeping everything in front, and making life hell for opposing quarterbacks. And that's what this defense has done each and every week.
Yeah, the quarterback, Jacoby Brissett, he's going to play. He's playing some good football, man, but that needs to change. Get some pressure on this guy. Make him have to roll outside that pocket. Get him outside the pocket. That's where this defense is going to eat. Also, the Hawks have all the advantage on paper, but you still got to play well. You can't just show up. All right, this ain't Friday Night Lights, and you have 4 or 5 stars on your team. You're playing a team that has some JV guys. This is the NFL. And on offense, keep protecting Sam Darnold. Only sacked 9 times this year.
It's hard to even think that where this team has been over the last couple of years in the sack totals and sack numbers, we're not talking about that anymore. How refreshing is that, dude?
For real.
When you think about this team, we're not talking about getting gashed in the run game. We're not talking about getting sacked, turnovers in the red zone. That's the level this team is playing at. And Sam Darnold, clean pocket. You keep playing at the MVP level we're seeing there. And then JSN. There's not enough words to say about this man. He's the best in the game right now. Just keep doing what you're doing. Defensive backs, watch out.
And third downs, were they fixed?
I think so.
I hope so. I hope they are fixed. But you got to keep doing that. You had a great week against Washington. You weren't in too many 3rd and longs. I believe like 2 3rd and 8s. Other than that, the average third down was 4 yards. Let's keep that rolling.
Yeah, no. Again, you're finding we're getting to the point with this team that you can be nitpicky about stuff because they're playing so well in different things. So, and I'm really excited to see how Shaheed plays in his first game.
Come on.
Obviously, he might not have the whole playbook open to him, but I think he can make an impact right away. So we'll see the Seahawks get going against the Cardinals on Sunday, 1:05 start at Lumen Field. Pre-game show gets started your way at 10 a.m. He's Michael Bumpus. I'm Nasser. This has been Hawk Talk. Hopefully we'll be talking to you on Monday about a Seahawks victory.